So let us meditate for some time before we reflect on the Amritabindu Upanishad. We will be again discussing the steps today, but let us practice. Step number 1. So here I am doing 8 steps. There might be little 1 or 2 steps more. Step number 1, Sthira Sukha Asanam. Let us keep our head, neck, backbone straight. For this Sthira Sukha Asanam, we have to do tapa of body on diet, exercise, yogasana, pranayam, so that the body is able to sit for long time without any movement. All asanas, pranayam, exercise, diet, a spiritual sadhak does for only one aspect, that is sthira sukha asanam. Head, neck, backbone straight. Step number 2, sankalpa. We have to take a resolve. God wants us to take a resolve, as we saw in the last session. Once the male bird takes a resolve, strong resolve, then the entire universe comes to our support. So step number 2 is sankalpa, resolve. So I resolve that I will sit for 10 minutes. I resolve that at this particular point of time, nothing belongs to me. I belong to no one. I am infinite self, illuminating the entire universe. Step number 3, Avahanam. I invoke God's grace, Guru Parampara's blessings, entire universe support for me to practice the meditation. So I bring my Ishtadevata Guru's form in my mind, in between the eyebrows. If I can bring the form of my Ishtadevata, my Guru, in front of my mind's screen. If I do not have these two, then the 7th mantra of Amritabindu Upanishad is going to give us technique of Om. Om has a form, Om has a sound. And mentally I invoke God's and Guru's grace flowing through their hands and their grace flowing in the form of golden blue light and falling on my body, my head, neck, face, shoulders, hands, backbone, chest, stomach. All are healed by this golden blue light in which I am soaked. Buttocks, groin, thighs, knees, calf muscles, shin, ankles, feet. My entire body is filled with the golden blue light. Step number 5, I focus on the breath. Just observe the breath, becoming extremely aware of every movement of the breath which is going inside the nostril and coming out of the nostril. So my attention must be at the entry of the nostril where the breath is going inside and coming outside. Not even one breath must go inside or come outside without my attention. Complete attention on the breath, inhalation, exhalation, on the sensation inside the nostril, on the temperature of the breath, on the flow of the breath from each nostril. I can in between stop the breath. When the breath is stopped, my attention becomes more alert. My mind is too distracted, not allowing me to focus. Then stopping the breath is a technique which is used to bring the attention back to the breath. Step number 6, Om chanting. So we will all chant Om. Today we are going to learn about the technique in the seventh mantra. So let us chant Om 12 times, and post that the seventh technique also we'll do together. After 12 times Om, we will chant 3 times Om, but focusing on the silence. So in 12 times Om, we will focus entirely on the sound, and 3 times only on the silence. Every Om chanting, it is important to take an inhalation. Om. 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 The next 3 Ohms will focus on the silence. Om. 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 The mind is concentrating, focusing on the silence. That is the time we must remember all attributes of the self. Nirvikar, Nirvishesh, Nirvikalpa, Nirmala. And after some time, these attributes must not come in the words, because then these words will crowd our mind. and the mind is allowed to focus on the silence completely. But at the same time, we must know very clearly what is silence is. And when there is nothing to cognize for the mind dissolves. Mind remains alive when there is something for it to cognize. So mind constantly creates forms and words and names. So I practice slowly, we start enjoying the silence. And the moment we start enjoying the silence, our meditation practice goes to next level. The mind becomes less interested in names, forms, relationships, objects. And it recognizes that silence actually it is its own nature. Names, forms, words. So let us invoke God's grace and Guru Parampara's blessings by doing our regular chanting. Om. 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 Om Sanavavatu Sanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवागंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो वरिष्ठनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः स्थावरं जङ्गमं व्याप्तं यत्किञ्चित् सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः चिन्मयं व्यापि यत् सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram.
Hari Om Vidya, very nice. So please chant 1 to 6 and then wait. Then I will just cover the summary and then we will chant 7th twice.
Start.
Yeah.
मनो हि द्विविधं प्रोक्तम् शुद्धं चाशुद्धमेव च अशुद्धं कामसङ्कल्पम् शुद्धं कामविवर्जितम् मन एव मनुष्याणां कारणं बन्धमोक्षयोः बन्धाय विषयासक्तं मुक्तं निर्विषयं स्मृतम् यतो निर्विषयस्यास्य मनसो मुक्तिरिष्यते अतो निर्विषयं नित्यं मनः कार्यं मुमुक्षुणा निरस्तविषयासङ्गं सन्निरुद्धं मनो हृदि यदा यात्यात्मनो भावं तदा तत्परमं पदम् तावदेव निरोद्धव्यम् यावत् हृदि गतं क्षयम् एतत् ज्ञानं च ध्यानं च शेषो न्यायश्च विस्तरः नैव चिन्त्यं नैव चिन्त्यं न चाचिन्त्यं न चिन्त्यं चिन्त्यमेव तत् पातविनिर्मुक्तं ब्रह्म सम्पद्यते तदा.
Very nice, Vidya. So we'll just do the summary. Also, Lakshmi ji is traveling. So I would request if anyone wants to take up writing summaries, please do that after this session. Please let me know who is going to do. Recordings are there, so we can refer the recording. It is one of the best way to do Manan because Upanishad, we are taking half an hour or 25 minutes, only one verse. The reason is that these are all subtle topics and we need Manan, constant contemplation on it. So till now we have covered following points. Basic ignorance in the mind is I am body, mind, intellect, and the world is real. Two. So what is the definition of ignorance? This is a definition of ignorance. So mind is impure because of six things. Sankalpa, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. What I have to do first is that through Karma Yoga, I have to remove this. And then I can employ this purified mind, very important, to do Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasam of the Prasthanatraya. That is Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, Brahma Sutra. Now, when the mind is not purified and we are studying it, it will be an intellectual knowledge, but it will not transfer into actual experience. Actualization of the knowledge will not happen because the mind is not pure. It is still having the six impurities. Then, after Shravan Manan Nididhyasanam, the meditation process we have to get into, that is withdrawal of the mind from the situation, objects, people. And we have to focus on the self. So for that, we need to know both what is the Jagata and what is the nature of the self. Very important point. If I have no clue about what is the nature of the Jagata, as we studied in Ishavasya Upanishad, isn't it? Ishavasyam idagam sarvam jagatyam jagata. So that time we studied in detail. There are two Jagata. One is outside, one is inside my mind. That inside my mind, that Jagata is called samsara. So I have to withdraw the mind, first of all, from outside Jagata, then my inside samsara, and then focus on the self. For Uttam Adhikari, we are going to see today that why this technique is given, because we already saw that till the fifth verse, the Upanishad is complete for a Uttam Adhikari. But because my mind is not so pure, it is having these impurities, it is not able to withdraw the mind from the Jagata, from the samsara and focus on the self. Then the technique is given in the seventh mantra. What are the obstacles in the meditation process? Laya, Vikshepa, Kashaya, Rasaswat. Now we have to remember this when these words come. That is where the manan helps. Because if I have not done the manan properly in meditation process, when we sit, we will be having all these doubts and the words and the forms will come which will be different. What is the result of this? Mind dissolves, abides in the self. So, now we are going to learn the meditation technique, dhyana. So this is a superior technique. As Ramana Maharshi says in Upadesar, Uttamastavad Uchchamandatah Chittajam Japa Dhyanam Uttamam. So what is the process? To chant or sing the glories of the Lord is good. But superior to that, singing and chanting is a loud japa. So I have to take one Ram, 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 Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Something I have to take. So that is superior to chanting and singing. Superior to chanting, do the japa loudly is the soft japa what I do. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. And superior to that is the mental japa in the mind. Mental japa, I am not even opening my mouth. On my mind, these words are coming. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Today we are going to take up Om as the symbol, as the upasana, which we are going to superimpose on Brahman. Earlier also, he said those who have done Upadesar. So Upadesar and all is very important to do before we read Upanishad. Kaya Vang Manava, Karya Uttamam, Pujanam Japa, Chintanam Kramat. So there is a krama given. Okay, puja is good. But by body, speech and minds. First of all, I do puja with the body. Then I do japa with the speech. And then at the mind level, I contemplate. So now we are going to the ultimate level. That is the contemplation. That is the meditation. And what is the result of that? Mind dissolves. Ahaminashabha jayamaham taya. The false I will dissolve and Spuratirutsvayam Parama Purnasat abides in the self. Outcome, there will be oneness, Brahman and world. Now this we are going to see in the seventh mantra. The significance of Brahman and the world. The last part, Na Bhavo Ishyate, that we will see. So what is the formula? 6-4-3-1. We also saw that it is not very easy. Some people would say, it is so difficult. Yes. What is important is taking a resolve, and we saw the resolve of the bird. And the conclusion is that once I resolve, then I will get it because universe supports my resolve. For a Uttam Adhikari, this much is enough. The person focuses on the self, is able to withdraw the mind from the Jagata and Samsara. That is the reason people take sannyas. Now, very important aspect. Why people take sannyas? Why that vairagya? Vairagya is the quality required because of when the Shishya in Upanishad approaches the Guru, the Shishya is already mumukshu, having vairagya about the world, and he is not having any samsara in the mind. And he is only having one question, that why I am miserable and I want to know the truth. And the Guru says, you are miserable because of your mind. Your mind is impure. That is where Amritabindu Upanishad starts. So for a Upanishadic sadhak, he is already a mumukshu and vairagi. So for a mumukshu, mantra 5 till mantra 5, the person listens, contemplates, meditates, realizes, abides in the self. Now further is Shesho Nyaya Vistara. So now we will see one very beautiful technique given in mantra 7 in Amritabindu Upanishad. This is a speciality of uniqueness, the highlight of this Upanishad, which gives a very clear technique of contemplation, meditation. So what is that technique? I would invite Vidya to chant this seventh mantra twice.
स्वरेण सन्धयेत् योगम् अस्वरं भावयेत् परम् अस्वरेणानुभावेन भावो वा भावयिष्यते स्वरेण सन्धयेत् योगम् अस्वरं भावयेत् परम् अस्वरेणानुभावेन भावो वा भावयिष्यते.
Another way is na bhavo bhava ishyate. Same. So what is the technique here given? We will see initially the union with the higher should be established by the Om sound. Step number 2, then one should meditate upon the Supreme, which is my own self, which is beyond sound. So there are two steps, focus on the sound and then focus on silence. Result by meditating on that which is beyond sound, the non-existence, illusory world disappears and the reality is realized or cognized by us. So now here, instead of a form, a sound is used for meditation. And what is that sound? The eternal sound, which is called as Om. So now we will see what is the technique given and what is the importance of this and how it has to be done. So direct means, first of all, what is a direct means for a Uttamadhikari? Meditate on I am infinite true self. The person sits, closes his eyes, sits sthira sukha asanam and just directly focuses on the self and remembers all the attributes of the self. Am Brahmasmi, Nirvikar, Nirvishesh, I am infinite consciousness, infinite bliss, pure existence, etc. And the person abides in it. Because in the person's mind, the impurities are not there, the world is not there, the samsara is not there. But for us, it is not so easy to directly remember the self. So we have to take a support. There are many supports. A person must have an anchor in life. The mind must have an anchor. Either a sound, either scriptures, guru, devata, God, or a idol. Something has to be there. It's one verse of some scripture which I constantly remember and focus, which becomes my anchor in life. So here the anchor given is, which is called as upasana. What is a upasana? Superimposing lower on higher, superimposing something on something. So here I am going to superimpose Om on Brahman because my goal is to realize Aham Brahmasmi, that I am Brahman. Now, what is Brahman? This question must not come because I have already read it. I already know. So a meditative student already knows for this manan is required. Helping the mind to go near the self with an aid. This is called as contemplation. Gurudev says this, what we actually do is contemplation. Meditation is a state. Meditation is not a verb. Meditation is a noun. I cannot say that I am doing sleeping. Either I am sleeping, I am abiding in the sleep, or I am awake. In the same way, we are actually practicing contemplation. Yoga means union of the mind with the higher self, dissolution of the mind happens. And bhoga means union of the mind with the grosser, body, mind, intellect, and the world. The mind becomes grossified. And when I focus on the self, Om, the mind will slowly will become subtle and then dissolve. And that is what my goal is. No, but if the mind dissolves, how will I operate? No. The subjective, the ego will dissolve. The objective mind will remain. The intellect will remain. The memory will remain. But in that memory, there will be, after practice, the abidance that I am the infinite self. That's the reason people used to say that for Ramana Maharshi, Sahaja Samadhi, abiding into the self all the time. It seems to be difficult. No, it is not so difficult because when we get up in the morning, I abide in that knowledge that I am a man. I don't have to remind myself I am a man. Similarly, for a realized person, doesn't have to remind that I am Brahman. Uttam Adhikari can practice directly dissolving the mind in the self. For others, some support is needed. So here Swara Sadhana is given. What is the example of Swara Sadhana? Pole vault. So I think most of us know the pole vault game. There is a pole given, the athlete runs and puts the pole down, and then there is a two bars on that. There are horizontal bar is kept. And the pole vaulter, the objective is to go beyond the horizontal bar without touching the horizontal bar. So here the pole is taken as a support for going beyond. So in the same way, a spiritual sadhak takes some support to go beyond the mind limitation. The moment the ego dissolves, all the limitations go. All limitations is equal to all sorrow. Suffering also goes with the sufferer. The doubter goes along with the doubts. And then the crossovers the boundaries of all limitations. So what is the support here given? Swarena, Swara, Om. So now this Om is, we are superimposing this Om on Brahman, that is Om is the truth. Om is the self, my own Atma. Om is Brahman. Om is the name, symbol of the highest. Om is the means and Om is the goal of the manifested world. Om is our visual audio support. Very, very important. Very, very important, because this is the meditation technique given in the Upanishad. When in Upanishad we say Deva Devatas, Pujas were not there. With that time the worship was of the elements. Those were the Devatas. So what this Om denotes, from today, when we chant Om, all these things, meanings must come in my mind. Suppose we remember this meaning even for 3 Oms we chant, there will be difference in our entire system. So Akara, O means what? Cross world, Sthula Prapancha Jagruti. So when I say Om, I am imagining that all the Jagrut Prapancha gross is dissolving. So waking state is dissolved. Then Ukara, subtle. The Swapna Avastha is dissolved. Sukshma Prapancha is dissolved. And Makara, the causal world, Vasana Prapancha, ignorance, Sushupti, deep sleep, that is dissolved. And there is a 4th step. In Mandukya Upanishad also this comes in detail. Turiya Avastha. Beyond the waking, dream and deep sleep, there is one more state, and that is my original reality state, which pervades all 3 states. So gross world, subtle world, causal world, all 3 are denoted by Akar, Ukar, Makar. So Om has 3 sounds. Om. Actually, some people say Om. So there are 3 alphabets. In these 3 entire words come, and all the alphabets come. The entire world comes. So those who learn Sanskrit, they know that in this U, Ma, all the alphabets come. So all alphabets are all names and forms. All names and forms are is equal to the world. And how do we connect the world? With 3. Jagrut, Swapna, Sushupti. So from today, whenever I think of Om or I chant Om, this must come in my mind. That when I'm chanting that time I'm dissolving the waking world. When I'm chanting Ooh, then I'm dissolving the Swapna, the subtle world. And when I'm closing my mouth, Makar, then causal world is dissolved and what remains is me. That now we have to pay attention. Very, very important. When I close my mouth, then after some time there is a silence which occurs, and that silence is the Turiya Avastha. That silence is the Anahata Nada. That silence is Aswarena. If you see the 7th mantra, Amatra it is called. So A, U, Ma are called as matras, alphabets. And Swarena means that silence which proceeds. So now our goal is silence. That silence is the Atma. The silence is the Brahman. The silence is my own self, which is pure existence, consciousness, bliss. The Atma is pure existence, pure consciousness, infinite bliss. And that is denoted by the silence, because even Bible says, be silent and know God. And actually, suppose we just withdraw our mind from the object to the senses, senses to the mind, mind to the intellect, intellect to the ego. We can imagine that ego is spacious. There is no one point where ego is located. So actually, suppose we just focus. So this is called as manan. After listening to Upanishad, I must be able to, focus on whatever I've heard, read, and then contemplate, sit quietly in one corner whenever I find time and just go through this and just experience it. Yes, actually, when I sit back, I can imagine myself spaciousness and silence. That is my original nature. Sound comes, sound goes. Words come, word goes. Names comes, name goes. Relationship come, relationship goes. Everything comes and goes. What remains is silence. Beyond sound, there is silence. Beyond words and names, beyond names and forms, there is space and silence. And that is what I can experience here and now immediately. We can just start. Objects, you're looking at the mobile phone by the eyes. Eyes are known by the mind. Mind is known by the intellect. Intellect is known by I. And that where is this I? I can feel the spaciousness right now itself. There is spaciousness and silence. So we are going to use this Om as the technique which is given in Amritabindu Upanishad. There is a Omkara mantra also, one of my favorite one. So those who want, they must remember this and chant, because it is a very beautiful mantra. Omkaram bindu sanyuktam nityam dhyayanti yoginaha kamadam mokshadam chaiva Omkaraya namo namaha. So I am prostrating to Omkar as I say Om Namah Shivaya, etc. This is prostrations to Omkar. And Omkaram Bindu Sanyuktam is one Bindu we come, the mind becomes one Bindu. And then all the yogis actually are focusing on this Om, devoted to Om, because many of the sannyasis practice Omkara sadhana. And what I get, all the four goals are achieved. And I prostrate to this Omkara. So this is there on YouTube. So those who want to practice Omkara sadhana, they can chant this and then sit for Omkara sadhana, because first of all, I am prostrating to Omkara and then I am doing this meditation. So now what is the meditation technique? Steps. As we have already seen, this will be easier for us to practice because we have already been practicing in Amritabindu Upanishad. 10 steps. Sit comfortably, Sukhasan, silent, pleasant time. Now here I am going to explain rather than do, because we have been doing in the beginning part. Pleasant time is very important. Silent time is very important. I have to discover it. I did not go to some ashram. I can take a break in ashram and go there and practice this. But after going there, I must be very clear what are these 10 steps, and slowly, slowly I can increase the duration. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours, 13 hours, 14 hours, 15 hours. Because I have nothing to do when I go outside. So I must focus on some time which is suitable to me. I don't have any work. I have no role. I have no relationship. I have no cooking, making bed, tea, coffee, everything is made arrangement. And that's the reason people go to an ashram where everything is ready. I have only thing what I have to do is meditate. Invoke. Step number 2, God and Guru. This I have to, how to invoke? I have to bring the form of the God, form of the Guru. Now, this is also not a very easy step, because I have to keep looking at the God's photo and keep looking at the Guru's photo, or keep looking at the Om, and then only the form will come very clearly in my mind. As Gurudev used to practice, the moon, the snakes, the color, everything is detail I am able to experience. So here, not only bringing the form, but I must be able to feel it. So the more I look at the form of the photo, whoever the photo is, then that photo or that form will come in my mind And that is very important because it is a subtle sadhana. Because the moment I bring God's form and try to go into detail, all other things will disappear. Step number 3, resolve. What is the resolve? I will sit for next whatever time I decide, 15 minutes. Second, I am a seeker of truth. This is very important to, very, very important for us to do as grihasthas. Do not sit with a relationship in mind that I am a wife, I am a husband, I am a mother, I am a grandmother who is sitting for meditation. I have so much of work in between. I am trying to meditate. No, I am a seeker of truth for 10 minutes. Bhagavan says for at least 10 minutes you become a seeker of God, seeker of truth. Contemplate on Mahavakyas, Atma Shatkam, I am not body, mind, intellect, I am Satchidananda Swarup. For this knowledge is required what we are learning of Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, Brahma Sutra, etc. Whatever knowledge we are gathering, this is for this contemplation. In this contemplation, I have no doubt on whatever I have learned. I know exactly what is Jiva, what is Jagata, what is Jagdishwara, and I clearly know that I am not the body, mind, intellect. I am pure existence, consciousness, infinite bliss. I do not belong to anyone, nothing belongs to me. I am infinite, illuminator of all. This is a contemplation I do. Then the fifth step is love and feel. This is not only intellectual stuff happening like a robo. Special appointment with self and God. So God has given me special VIP appointment. So that is a feeling I must get. As Mata Amritanandamai says that when we are sitting for meditation, the feeling must be like a person who has ran for kilometers in hot 40-45 degrees and just wanting to sit in a shade and drink cool water or ice cream. How the feeling would be? The person would be so interested to just come in the cool shade and have a cool glass of water. That must be bhava for sitting meditation because it's a special appointment with God, special appointment with my own self. Because all the time I'm with people, the world, the body, the mind, the intellect, relationship, work, this, that, so many things are in my mind. I'm not with myself. Breath, observe the natural movement. So suppose I give 1 minute to all, it will be 10-minute meditation. Suppose I give 2 minutes to all, it becomes 20 minutes of meditation. Suppose I give 3 minutes to each step, it becomes 30 minutes of meditation. So I must take a watch, alarm watch and sit. Gurudev says that in the beginning, sit for 15 minutes. Start time and put a alarm watch at 15 minutes, stop. Don't try to, extend it too much and stress the mind because mind will revolt. Because when we start meditating, all the previous births, vasanas, and desires will come up in various ways. Swara sadhana, Om chanting, upasana, watch the sound. As we saw, Om, Gurudev says Om, 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 Om. I'm not giving him any silence in between. I'm just Om, 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 Om. I'm not allowing any thought to come in between that Om. Entire focus is on Om. And then a swara sadhana. Then I watch the silence between the ohms and I start reducing the pitch. Om, Om, Om. So in between, I'm focusing on the silence. Silence. The moment, suppose a lot of thoughts start coming in my mind, again I go back to loud chanting. Om, 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 Om. When I chant loudly, other thoughts will not come. When my mind starts settling down slowly, slowly by practice, then my mind will be more interested in silence. Final key, shift the attention from the silence of mind to self. Then when the mind becomes silent and observing silence for more time, then I remember that is the time all this knowledge of Upanishad is required. That who am I? Self, pure existence, pure consciousness, infinite self. Silence of self. In the silence, the I notion dissolves as nothing to cognize. The more the mind focuses on silence, the process is that the mind has nothing to cognize. No name, no word, no form, the mind will dissolve. And that mind will dissolve means the ego will dissolve. What is the meaning of ego? The I notion will dissolve because I have nothing to cognize. And when that false I dissolves. That is what we go to Sangam and take bath to dissolve the papi and the papa both. Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, Shantichi pai shanti nivrutti datar. What will be the experience? Rock like silence, which is bliss, which is not a feeling. Feeling belongs to the mind. This is rock like silence because I abide in silence. Deeper silence than deep sleep. Because we have to read what people have said at the last moment, what happened. Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, Saintichi pai shanti nivrutti dadaru. It was complete rock-like silence. I am aware of it. Gurudev says, I realize I am not the thinker, thought and thoughted. Gurudev said in meditation about meditation that act to become actionless, worship to become worshipful, meditate to become the meditated. Because I am meditating on the Om Brahman, that is my goal. I become Brahman, Am Brahmasmi. Meditate to become meditated. So I have to focus on what Gurudev is saying about act to become actionless. My action must create actionless in me, not too many actions again and again. That becomes vikara. My worship to become worshipful and meditate to become the meditated. So next session we will see the last part of the mantra, that is what happens, what is the result of this meditation? Existence and non-existence becomes existence. What is the meaning of that? Na bhavo ishyati, that we will see next time. So let us complete this session by chanting 3 times Om. 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 Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you very much.